Assalamu Alaikum, welcome to a video that is not a lesson but rather a note that someone asked about on one of the classes. It's with regards to the Naskh script. Now the person was asking what are the lines that we are going to work with when we write Naskh script, for example the maximum height, the maximum drop and these things. Now for that you have to go back to the sentence you are writing. So for an example we are going to take some hadith from the Prophet, peace be upon him. إنما العلم بالتعلم وإنما الحلم بالتحلم. Then the second line we are going to write ومن يتحرى الخير يعطه ومن يتق الشر يوقه. Note that my handwriting isn't that pretty, so it's fine to have, I don't know, I'll just write this way when I'm at work or like in normal ways. So let's start with the first part of the sentence. Before we start, we always add the 5 points of height for the alif. That is very important. After these 5 points, we could add a line that goes all the way the top here that is parallel to this line down here. So let's just do it freehandly. And this would be the top part. So we will start with the first word, which is innama. Here we could start the alif with a slight inclination to the right. We write the hamza down here. Now the distance between the alif and the hamza would be 1 point. Innama. Noon mim. We have several combinations for the noon mim. I'll just use the normal one. Now you can see we have 1 point of height for the noon here. Then we're going for the mim. And the alif here would follow the maximum height up here. And with regards to the inclination to the left and the right here, for example, these ones you have to choose every letter for itself. And the letter noon, the dot for it, would come here. Wouldn't be too high, neither too low. And it has to be on top of the letter. So this is the first one. إنما العلم. Now we leave a good distance here. That would show that it's a new word. The distance between the lam and the alif would be 1 point. And here we have the decoration. Now إنما العلم. Here we have a ain. The height of the ain you will find that is the same as this noon. So the 5 points at the beginning here will help you to see the height of the letters later on. We have a lam here that would go to the same height. Now the meme after it, you have several options to choose. For example, we could go down then connect to a dagger meme, or we could go down and choose one of these memes. I will choose this meme. Now we go down 1 point here, we break up, down, then we stop here. The maximum drop for this meme would be 4 points. This is the new maximum drop that we have for this script, for this writing. إنما العلم. Here we've finished the first 2 words. بالتعلم. Again, using a normal ba or whatever ba you want. The dot for the ba again would take a good space, then is added down here. بالتعلم, we have a lam, then a ta, then a ain, so we're going to use the high ta, and then a ain, lam, and I'm going to use again the same meme I used before, which will drop to the same drop here. Now a quick note here, which is the, for example, this is higher than this one because it is higher. It's the same. If you went back to the ain lesson and the bat lesson, you will find that this is 3 points of height, which is higher than this one, which is 1 by 1. Now sometimes you could drop, as you can see here, we have slight drops below the main line. That is fine. Don't be strict about that. Now the 2 dots for the ta'allum, you could either have them next to each other right here, again with a nice sort of level with the same dot for innama. The distances between letters are governed by this thing. So for example, sometimes it's short, sometimes it could be longer. We might see it later, for example here. It depends on each letter by itself. Now here you could add a comma if you want to, because it's a part of the hadith. The second part would be وَإِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ بِالتَّحَلُّمِ. Here we have a waw. The drop for the waw is 2 points. Here you have, let's say, a new thing, but you could have taken it from the, let's say, the meme here, which sort of comes with the same drop. The space wouldn't be too far because it's the same word. Now here we have a bit of a dilemma. So we have a hamza. Should we put it here or here? Now since we have things going down here, we could put it down here, because it's known that it's for the alif, and it will be in a composition that, because if you put it down here, it would be quite hard to fit in, but down here it's fine, nothing will. Also you have a kasra later on, so if you put it down here, it will be very hard to add the kasra. So in this case, it's better to put it down here. وَإِنَّمَا, going to use the same combination, noon, mim, alif, وَإِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ. Now here we add a space, then start with the alif, and the lam for the ha is different, so we're going to use this one. Now here we have a ha that is followed by a lam, so we're going to use the almond shape. إِنَّمَا الْحِلْمُ, again with the 4 points. بالتحلم. You could add this small key here. And now التحلم has several shapes, but I'm going to use the very basic one, which is ta, then ha, that is an almond one. This could be the first draft, for example, to know the shapes if I want to change any shapes, or because you can see clearly here that this hat is different from this one. I'm just explaining the heights and the sort of lines that you're going to work with. So what governs you isn't like a general rule in Naskh, it's more of a, what letters do you have? So some letters drop 2 points, others drop 4 points. Ha and ain, for example, they might drop, they generally drop the same drop. Let's continue with the second one. وَمَنْ يَتَحَرَّى الْخَيْرَ يُعْطَهُ. Let's go back with the same angle here. Here we have a waw which will drop 2 points. وَمَنْ. The noon also will go down quite a long way. Now the dot for the noon, for example, we've talked about in the lessons, so you could go back and see where to put the dots for it. وَمَنْ يَتَحَرَّى. Now here we have a ya, a ta, and a ha. Now this is governed by the ya that connects to a ta, then goes down to a ha. You see the height that I have to bring all the way up so that the bottom part of the ha would go down to the line here. I'm going to use the ha that is connected to a ra. The drop for the ra is 2 points, as you can see. And here you see how much points I've sort of put this up so that it will fit in. It will not, the ha will not drop below the line. So you might need to write this several times to know the height of it. Then put it on the final paper that you're going to use. Now here we have an alif. وَمَنْ يَتَحَرَّى الْخَيْرَ. So I could start the alif here inside, and ya, lam, al-khayr. We have kha, and I'm going to connect it with a high ya so that it will connect to this ra. 2 points. Now we know with any high combination of letters, the kha closes on itself. We use a different kha. So here we have a good, this is the ta, a good combination. Now the dots for the ya, وَمَنْ يَتَحَرَّى, could be this way or could be on top of each other. Now calligraphers use this one more. This one is used if you really had to use it. وَمَنْ يَتَحَرَّى الْخَيْرَ يُعْطَهُ, using a high ya, a ain, then a ta. Now for the ha, you could either use this one, the normal one, or you could use the other one, which is really pretty, this one. The height for the ta would be close to the height of the other alif and lams, but if it went higher, it's fine. يعطى ومن يتق الشر يوقه. ومن يتقي. Again, the drops for the qaf and the noon, the waw, they all come similar. Sometimes they drop a bit, like half a point, but it's fine, nothing to be afraid of. الشر. Alif. Sheen. The next nabra would be joined with a ra, as we can see here. ومن يتق الشر يوقه. The same thing goes for the qaf. You could use the normal ha or you could use this ha. I hope this will answer some of the questions that are related to how to choose the maximum height of each script. So generally the letters would go between 2 to 3 points. Like the general height would be 2 points for the majority of them. That's the normal rule. Some letters go higher because of the way they are written. So each letter has its own height, but the majority of them rely between the 5 points of height. Even the kaf comes in this direction, but sometimes the kaf they would add more length to the hats depending on the script and the way they're writing it. And the maximum drop would be related to memes or hats or ains, the letters that drop really low below the line. For example, letters such as waw, noon, ra, qaf, sin, sheen, sad, those have similar, let's say, dimensions, so they will drop relatively similar to each other. And you memorize the scale of each letter, and that is the one that will guide you into how high, low, what's the let's say the baseline that we are going to govern ourselves with, so that we could have a delicate script in a way. Now for a start, you would start with a paper that is filled with scales and sort of dimensions like that. You will change around. Another thing that is very important is the let's say the way that the alifs and the lams go up. So for example, this is way too straight, this is way too inclined, so you want your alifs and lams with the same angle. Also the distance between, for example, بالتحلم here and بالتعلم here, any combinations that are similar to each other, they have to have the same space. The space between words has to be consistent, let's say, and for these things you can't really sort of choose one thing and work for. You have to write it and write it several times, make sure that the general look is solid. You feel comfortable with your product if it was solid. I hope this clears the some questions about the Naskh. This is a midweek video, it's not a class. I'm going to upload videos such as this one to answer some questions, add to the classes themselves and explain things more, but that is in the future. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one and it answers some of the questions that you might have. This has been Ammar Abaudi, and see you in the next lesson. Have a great day. Goodbye.